Welcome to Ghoulish Gab, always spooky, always under 7 minutes. Today we are talking about our top 3 favorite zombie movies of all time. We have a showing of the original Dawn of the Dead, a private showing coming up at the Cinema on the last Sunday of May here, which I believe is the 26th. But go to our page, the Facebook group, for information on that. Kayla, let's hear your number 3.
Okay, so anybody who's paid any sort of attention to me knows that 28 Days Later is my favorite zombie movie, but it's my favorite horror movie in general. So to avoid being redundant and to avoid the whole, but they're not really zombies argument, I have eliminated that one from the running. So number 3, I have 2005's Land of the Dead, which
Okay.
might be a little controversial because I know a lot of people doesn't think it feels right in Romero's collection, but I really enjoy it. John Leguizamo is freaking great, so that's always a bonus. And I think especially for the time, because 2005, there was a lot of zombie movies coming out around that time, but it was a different take on the zombie apocalypse. It wasn't like what's happening right as it starts. It was years later, and this is what humanity is doing with this.
Yeah,
So
I need to rewatch that. I haven't watched it since around the time it came out, but I remembered enjoying it quite a bit at that time. So my number 3, and my list is going to be very basic zombie bitch to most people, so you can let me have it. But Dawn of the Dead, the original one, comes in at number 3 for me. I think Mr. Romero he realized he really had more stories to tell with what he created from Night of the Living Dead. And, when you up the zombie horde, it really created a lot more dread. And he just I thought he built on what he created very well with that one. And there's a lot of good stuff in there. Good stuff in that film that still makes it great to watch today.
absolutely. My number 2, 2017's Cargo.
Oh, yeah.
Australian horror film starring Martin Freeman. So two great things right there. I first saw it on Netflix and I was totally sucked in. For those who don't know, it's about a man traveling through like a zombie apocalypse and he's trying to protect his baby. And it's an older movie, but it's still new enough that I don't want to give spoilies because I think people should go watch it. But at one point, something really tragic happens, but it turns kind of beautiful and it's impressive, it's emotional, and it's really freaking great.
Oh, excellent pick as well. My number 2 is going to be Return of the Living Dead.
Of course
It's
it is.
it's an absolute classic. I've watched it so many times, and I will watch it so many more times because it's just so fun. And it was kind of created as an unofficial sequel to, George Romero's stuff. And I guess you could debate if it fits in with, that feel all you want. But regardless, it's such a fun, ridiculous movie, and it's it's a classic, is what it is.
I love that your list is like old school and mine is newer school. Before I do my number 1, a couple of honorable mentions. Train to Busan, Blood Quantum, and Splinter, all worth
Mm.
watching. My number 1, 2008's Pontypool.
Mm.
You don't like Pontypool?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so for those who don't know, a douchey radio host interprets like what's going on with an outbreak outside of their radio studio as it's happening. And it's more psychologically freaky for the most part until like the later on very little gore, but then the gore that's in there is well done, the actors are great, and it's got great rewatchability despite what Corey says. I love it.
I should give that movie a second chance. I watched it once, and I don't know. I'd heard a lot of good things about it, and I was just like bored the whole time. I just didn't really seem to care. So maybe that was a me problem at that time, and I'll give it a second chance.
Good, good.
I mean, I've definitely seen plenty of worse movies. I just remember just not being engaged with it, but I'm happy that so many other people like it. A few of my honorable mentions before going into my obvious number 1 pick uh, would be Planet Terror, another ridiculous movie with a lot of rewatch ability for me. Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. It was a 2015 kind of comedy one that's also really fun to rewatch. And of course, Shaun of the Dead,
Yes.
which I was kind of surprised it didn't make either of our lists, but so many zombie movies, so little time. Night of the Living Dead will never not be the best zombie movie ever to me. It still holds up really well as just a great all around film. If you want to get into the social commentary of it, everything holds up, and it works so well. There's nothing in that movie to complain about. I feel that it's one of the greatest horror movies of all time, and it probably always will be.
I have zero complaints about your list. I think it's just two different aesthetics that we enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Nothing wrong with that. Tell us your top three or just some of your favorite zombie movies in the list below or the comments below. Tell us why you like zombie movies. Just say whatever you want. We really don't care. Bye.